Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Star Wars Out in the Dark campaign. My name is Will. I will be your storyteller this evening, and before we jump into it, I'd like to preface this episode with a little bit of a trigger warning. Last episode, we delved into some darker aspects, and it is something that might be continuing in this episode and into the near future, so just be aware that if you are sensitive to topics of prison and things relating to that kind of area, we will be dealing with interrogations and some high stakes violence in enclosed spaces. But last we left off, we saw that Marcoon and Silas Winchester tried to make a break for it and were stopped by some Republic troopers that quickly regretted the life choices that led them into that room. We saw that Dr. Shakti and Flid were separated by some dark troopers that took them to what is, we can only assume, is a detention area. And we saw what happened to Eedee as it glanced backwards and forwards and to the present through the use of a remembered force power, and got himself a new body with a whole list of amendments as to what he owes for that body. But without further ado, let's jump to the crew. And let us begin with Dr. Silas Shakti, since we missed you last episode. As the bag and the darkness envelops you and you feel yourself being forcibly pulled away, there is a familiar sensation of a needle, and you can feel the toxins course through your body out of the origin point in your arm, and everything kind of goes dark with all your senses. When you come to, you don't know how much time has passed, but you recognize that you're in a dark room. There's a warm glow that comes from what looks to be a hollow projector that is currently tuned to a kind of static channel. And that is the only light that permeates the darkness around you. Your hands are bound to a chair, a steel chair, at the elbows and the wrists behind your back. Your knees and your ankles at the front legs are also bound, and there is a series of bindings that crisscross your thighs and your chest. There is a lot of security, for an overabundance of security for what you imagine you might have done in any way, shape, or form. And after a moment, the hollow projector shows you a similar room, dark, but this one doesn't have the solid door. This one has bars, and from the light kind of like cutting into the room, you can see what looks like Flid on that same chair, same kind of tied up situation. And that's when you see that there's another bit of movement in there with him. Some body is shifting in the darkness. You can't hear anything, but you can kind of see his head moving, like he's trying to figure out who's there with him. And after a moment, you see there's a bit of an exchange, and the other person slithers up to him from behind and just kind of gets on top of him in a very menacing and almost threatening manner. And you can see that Flid is uncomfortable. He shivers, he tries to pull himself away, and he can't. And excuse me. This is when you see the headbutt that kind of sends him reeling back. And as that happens, the door to your cell opens, and you see a blue-skinned kind of tints of purple and green along the exposed kind of shoulders and forearms. There's a ridge line, almost like a fault line that comes up her forehead to a kind of flat top where hair kind of sprouts back that is kept very tightly in a ponytail. And as she enters the room, you can sense that there's a shift in the air. You start to feel not attracted to her, but definitely enticed. There's something about the way she walks, about the way she holds herself kind of in her pose as she comes to a stop in front of you. And you see a protocol droid walk in behind her and kind of stand at attention just off her right hand side. And as she looks down at you, there's a smile that creeps across her face. And she looks at you, she's like, "We've scanned you, Dr. Shakti. We're surprised to see a Zolosian this far out from your homeworld. What brings you to Bespin? And please be aware that I am in the company of one of the best lie detectors that the Republic has." And you see the droid kind of nod at you. This is C1T1. We call him ZT. My name is Agent Neura Hayes. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Shakti.
Under the circumstances, I don't know if I could say the same.
Oh, please.
I'm here because of I'm here with my crew. We came here together. I don't question everything that they do, so
we don't have a crew. We don't have a crew manifest on record. What ship are you with, if I may be so bold to ask?
I'm with the Neverwhere.
The Neverwhere. And for a moment, you see the screen turn away from Flid's situation, and then you see excuse me, a ship manifest of the Neverwhere. The design, the kind of layout of how the ship should look like, which is nothing like it has been modified to look like now, and it shows you a readout of the names associated with the Neverwhere. There's a Captain Orlin Vale, there's a Yandro Cravolol, and then there's a droid P3V1, and there's no mention of any other crew. She turns to look at you. How unsightly that your captain has seemed to have forgotten to add you to the manifest. It's a simple fine, of course, of 100 credits.
Forgetting to add to the manifest? It's a simple fine. So what, I just owe you 100 credits and you'll let me go?
Well, it's not so simple. We would need your captain to come in and vouch for you, of course. Where can we find him?
Well, I don't know where my captain is, and the last time we saw him, your troopers, we went to get you and alert you of the fact that we didn't know where he was, and there was a trail of blood that then just disappeared, as if either he disappeared into thin air or was put into some sort of vehicle.
That is clandestine, to say the least. And as she waves her hand, the image of the ship is replaced with this video feed of what is happening to Flid. And you can see that the other person has shifted away from him, and there's a guard standing at the door, at the kind of cell door. And he seems to be agitated and kind of pointing at the two of them. And she steps kind of over in between the view of the room and yourself, and she's like, "So, did you report the missing captain to the authorities?"
Me personally, no, I did not. I believe that someone else on my crew took care of that.
Oh, there's more of you. Would this be this Yandro fellow?
No, Yandro also was disappearing. He disappeared with the captain.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And you see, as she steps away, she motions to the screen again, and you see that now that she's moved, that the guard has come into the room, into the cell, and has started beating on the other person that was there with Flid. And the image washes away, and it shows you the camera angle of Yandro's dead body in the hospital room. And she kind of looks at you. It's unfortunate that your first mate has been found dead in the hospital, a victim of gang violence, as I've come to understand it.
When did this happen? He was just okay. One of my crew members just saw him.
Oh, did they?
In the hospital, yes, but he wasn't dying.
And you see the image suddenly stop being static, and it becomes a play. And you can see Silas walk in, sees the situation, and then walks out. And she rewinds it and stops, and she's like, "Is this your crew member?"
Yes.
And does he have a name?
I think we've all got names.
For the record, please, Dr. Shakti. What is his name?
Silas.
Just one name. How nouveau riche.
Something with a W.
Hmm.
This is last name.
She motions to the droid, and it nods, and then the video cuts back to Flid's cell. And you see the guard standing over the other body that was kind of not in the same position as Flid in the beginning, and it is in the fetal position, and it looks like it's sobbing. Like you can see the shoulders moving up and down, and then the guard kind of points the baton at Flid and steps over, and that's when you see the hand go up and then come crashing down against Flid's body, and there's just the revulsion, and you can see that the guard doesn't stop at the first hit, and then she steps in between you and the screen. Who else is part of this crew? I assume that this ship would require something around 6 or 8, yes? So you were brought on board.
Why is that guard beating that inmate? Do you see that? He's not even doing anything. He's tied. He's bound. He can't fight back.
She turns around and stepping to the side, and the video kind of shows you the opening image all over again of Flid just standing there, the other body kind of slithering around in the darkness, and she's like, there's no guard, Dr. Shakti. We're the Republic. We don't devolve ourselves to such barbaric tactics.
Is that video on a loop?
No, of course not. That's a live feed.
That can't be a live feed.
Is that man part of your crew then? This Celestin?
That man is my friend, yes.
I can make it an arrangement for you to see him so that you can see that this is not a looped video by any way, shape, or form. Would that please you, Dr.
Okay,
Shakti?
that'd be great. It would.
Excellent. You've given us enough information about this Neverwhere. I think that I can pull some strings to put you two together. I will need you to stay here, unfortunately. Could that be an issue for you?
You don't have any lights by any chance, do you? Make it a little brighter, perhaps?
No, unfortunately, this interrogation room is one of the lesser kept ones, unfortunately. We're kind of busy today. You know, gang violence and all that.
Right. Yeah. I see.
If you'll excuse me. And you see that she nods to you, and the droid is the first one out the door. And as she steps out, the door closes. The sensation of wanting to please her kind of vanishes with her, and you're left kind of trying to figure out what that was, because you didn't feel anything through the force. It wasn't something pushed on you. And after a moment, the screen goes black, and there's an animation of an eye opening, a single eye. And then you hear the voice that you heard in the records room. Oh, you're calling yourself Dr. Shakti. No wonder I couldn't find you. It's been some time. Do your friends know about your past? I wonder.
Who are you?
You don't recognize the voice. It's unfortunate. I thought I meant more to you, Dr. Shakti. Shall I tell them your real name? Or shall I show them what you've done in your past?
My real name is Silas Shakti.
Maybe. Maybe it's who you've become.
Maybe. What was I before then?
Oh, I was hoping you'd ask. And you see a video suddenly come on. There's a planet forested. There's a beautiful kind of red and brown spired castle on like a cliff overlooking a waterfall. It is almost a thing of medieval fantasy. And you see just this kind of beautiful silvered reflective ship in the distance, and you can see some blaster fire suddenly come out of it or towards it from the castle, and that's when the video kind of crops down towards the forest underneath the castle, and you see a blue rod of maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet, and a green rod of the same distance kind of running through the forest, kind of weaving up and down. And as this drone-like camera angle comes down under the canopy of the forest, you can see what looks to be a younger version of you. Not too much younger, just maybe like 5 or 6 years. And the Coin Knight Jedi Master that has started to teach you. And you can see that there are humans that are kind of opening fire on different set of humans that have red and blue, kind of dark purple armor. And you start to realize that you're on Naboo. You don't remember your time on Naboo, but you do remember being there. And then you see that some of them see you and the Jedi Master, and they turn and start opening fire. And between the two of you, you redirect some shots safely away. Some of them are redirected back at them, and you can see them kind of start to fall by the wayside. And as you come across to this kind of squadron of Naboo guards, you see another set of what look to be guerrilla fighters kind of descend on the group on speeders and kind of heavy repulsor lift sleds. And as the blaster fire intensifies, You can see and you can feel all of these wild emotions kind of start to surge through you. You can hear, you don't hear anything from the video, but you can hear it in your memory. You can hear your master just kind of reaching out to you. Find your balance. Find your balance. Do not let them overwhelm you. And one of the guards drops just blaster fire on his chest that ate away at his armor and exposed the skin beneath, and you can just see the charred kind of cylindrical starburst of a wound. His eyes start to kind of glaze over as he starts to die. A second guard falls. Again, your master, trust in your training. This is greater than you. Trust in what I've taught you. And a third guard drops, and then a fourth, and then it's just you, your master, and one sergeant who is trying desperately not to lose control and give in to his fear, and you can feel that start to wash through you. And that's when you see yourself just, your hand shoots out away from your lightsaber, so that your lightsaber is still in your right hand and your left hand shoots outward towards one of the invading guerrilla fighters, and you can just see your fingers start to curl in, almost like you're holding a grapefruit, and then you start to squeeze them together, almost like you're trying to squeeze the juice out of this fruit. And you see one of the guards just kind of freeze in place, holding his throat. And his eyes start to kind of widen as he sees and realizes what's happening to him. And then there's a moment where you see your hand just close into a complete fist. And you know inside that guerrilla fighter is not going to pose a problem anymore. And you don't hear it over the blaster fire, over the running, over the screaming, but you know deep down inside that man's spine has been shattered. We turn our attention to an open area outside the hospital, where we see the Cloud Car, Marcoon, Silas Winchester, and Major Raimes, with his three kind of senior sergeants, and the new body that belongs to Eedee, being followed by the large kind of lanky set of lookalikes that have been imposing themselves in the periphery of this whole situation that's kind of unfolded for you in Bespin over the last couple of days. And you can see Major Raimes look down at the one who is squatting, and he calls down to him as soon as I can find his name. There he is. He goes, Calix, if I could have you take point on this and kind of scan these gentlemen to see if they are on any of our wanted lists, that'd be real right nice of you. And you see the man nod. He gets up to his full height of just over 6 feet, and you see him pull out a small kind of iPad, and he brings a code cylinder with him. He steps over to Marcoon and he scans his eye, and then he looks down at the data pad and he calls out, sir, this is showing a Dolvin Greaves. This is he's been wanted for murder off-world. It says here he has ties to to the Crimson Dawn. And you see the Major kind of nod at him. All right, well, doesn't look good for you, unfortunately. Let's hope that you're not a despicable character, like your associate here. And the guy comes over and he scans you, kind of trying to catch your eye. And after a moment, you see he looks down and he's like, Sir, this says Vinrice Palom. It says that he's wanted off-world for an unlawful discharge of a blaster and manslaughter in self-defense. And then he stops and he's like, oh, sir, this is on Coruscant. He is flagged.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. I know this man. Hold on. Repeat that name one more time.
He brings the data pad over to you, and you can see that it is not Silas Winchester. It is Vinrice Palom. And if you're looking at the stream, you'll notice that his name has changed to reflect.
I need to speak to this gentleman in private, off to the side at this moment.
The Major looks.
It is Jedi business.
The Major looks at you.
Business.
This man is wanted on Coruscant, sir. This supersedes anything that might warrant a one-on-one conversation. And you hear at this point the robed figure, the leader of the kind of lookalikes. He steps forward and puts his hand on Major Raimes' shoulder, and he's like, Major, I think I would defer to the Jedi in this case. I think he outranks you currently, if my understanding of Republic ranking is in order.
This understanding is correct.
The Major looks up at the Mune, and then he looks down at the hand on his shoulder, and he steps away from the lanky kind of humanoid. And then he looks over at you. He's just like, you got 5 minutes, and then we're taking both of them into custody.
All right. And I take this gentleman off to the side where no one can hear us.
Yeah, and you see that they come over and they manhandle Marcoon. Like, they are not gentle in any way, shape, or form.
And as I walk past the Major, I as I walk past the Major, I go, ooh, outranked.
Okay.
Are we out of earshot?
Yeah, you step away and you can see that the soldiers have kind of given you a wide berth.
Silas, it is me, Eedee.
What do you mean you're Eedee? How is this possible?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Why does everybody have alter egos?
Right?
You are not the crystal that I'm familiar with.
Who are you and what have you done with Silas Winchester? You share his face but not his name or his voice.
Well, I can't be Silas Winchester when I so need to be.
My force. What is happening? Silas.
Prove to me that this is, in fact, Eedee.
You shot me in the head, and I lived, because you are a terrible shot.
Oh, it is Eedee. Okay. I like the new body.
Thank you. I think I am still processing what has happened, but I'm not sure if you noticed, but we have the Major here.
Correct.
Oh no! Please don't do this.
So, here, I will be full disclosure with you.
Oh.
I killed some people, but they were all very bad.
We can discuss logistics of murder later. Right now, I would like to make sure you are not taken into Republic custody, where I will no longer have control over the situation. Do you, Roger?
Roger. Roger.
Oh man, that was a great reaction.
I got the reaction I wanted
Yeah.
from all of them. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Every single one of their faces was perfect.
Yeah.
I got tears coming out of my eyes right now.
The bar is set high for the next alias reveal.
Shut up,
Wow.
bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do not know how to get you out of this situation. So here is what I'm going to propose. Is he handcuffed in any way?
No.
Like
No.
erratically?
Nobody has got to
No?
him. You got to him first.
Is there any like clear out?
The roof is still open. If he can get
Can
to a ship, he could fly out.
I was gonna suggest could I turn the cloud car back on?
Yeah, sure. Without a pilot, it's gonna start to just kind of veer off on its own.
I am going to turn the car back on, and you need to get to it, and then I will handle any other repercussions I need to here, but it will probably be me making it sound like you abused me in some way.
Make
Are
your roll.
Are you comfortable with that, my friend?
Eedee, what about Flid and the doctor?
I will find them, but I promise you I've not thought this through in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like it's probably best that we keep you in your position of power at the moment, and I just play along for now.
So do you want? Okay, so you're. So do you want to get arrested?
Nobody ever wants to get arrested, but it won't be the first time, and probably not the last.
Should I not? So do we, should we just walk back?
Yeah,
over
I
to
look
the
over.
Major?
I look at my head at the 5 special forces, essentially people that are there.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I may be fast. Well, I don't say that. Sorry, I don't talk to Silas. I go,
Yeah.
I may be fast, but I'm not fast enough to outrun them in this situation.
Okay. Well then, back.
But and do you?
I have a plan.
Are they looking at me, Will? Like, can I sleight of hand my blaster, like, to him?
I have a blaster in my hand.
So you can keep mine, so they don't take it from me. And if I need you to give it to me,
That'd be smart.
yeah.
One of them kind of keeps looking over at you.
Turn on the car.
The other ones are kind of
Hey,
preoccupied.
so I have to put one dice to the side for my wild dice. Yes.
Yeah. You rolling to actually turn on the car?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
I need a distraction so I can hand it to him.
Well,
8
no.
plus
I'll
2 is 10.
I'll roll for you. Don't
10
worry.
Plus
It's what
6 is 16.
computer programming?
No.
That's
He's gonna keep talking. He'll keep talking.
Yeah, of course.
18.
Okay.
19 with a
fine.
2 on the wild.
That's fine. Yeah.
I have dice.
Yeah. No, we're not using real dice for this.
That really sucks. I brought them on this trip just for this.
Yeah. No, you should have brought your D10s. Yeah, you should have used your D10s for your vampire.
Well, that's why I brought my D6. But it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever. I rolled 19 to 2 on the wall.
Yeah, no. You rolled the 15 and you rolled the 1 on the wall die. So
That's so weird. 'Cause that's not.
So- the cloud car does turn on and then immediately begins to rocket towards the hospital.
It's evacuated. They're fine.
Yeah.
It was already
Yeah.
destroyed. We're fine.
Do you wanna roll to hand the gun off in a very sneaky way?
What would that be? Sneak
Yeah. Well, you can
or
use
stealth?
Yeah, you can use your stealthy specialty. I'll allow it.
28.
Yeah. Nobody sees it.
I empty my pockets out and just put everything.
He doesn't even have pockets for everything that you have, and he somehow manages to like attach it to himself.
Yeah, and keep everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So what I'm picturing in my head, Brandon, is R2D2 in Return of the Jedi pulling out the lightsaber and launching it.
I got you.
That's what I'm picturing, right?
I got you. I absolutely got you. All right. Follow my lead. So welcome back to the Major.
Okay.
Major.
Oh.
This gentleman has been accompanying me on official Jedi business, and I will need him to remain in my custody until we return to Coruscant.
That's real unfortunate. Seeing
It is.
as how there has been no formal documentation of your arrival here on Bespin. So while
If you have
I
not received it from the Jedi Order, that is not my own fault, but it is your bureaucracy for not anticipating the arrival of the Jedi and our business.
And while you take care of your end of the situation, you see him motion, and
I will.
a couple of guards come over and just start manhandling Vin Rice. And they take him over to where Marcoon is. You're on.
No, I put my arm in the way. This is as I said before. This is official Jedi business, and as a Republic officer, I will need you to respect this, Major Raimes.
I see that.
If you have an issue, you can. But if you have an issue, you can. Put
Sure.
a complaint in to the Jedi
Let's
Order.
let me show you where my issue lies. And as he reaches into his belt, you suddenly see this wall of white light wash over you. To you, Vin Rice, there is nothing. There's just a kind of sensation of the air kind of getting staticky for a moment. But you notice that Eedee just kind of stops mid-sentence and then just collapses backwards. And you just see the Major. If you boys could put this hunk of junk somewhere useful, like maybe take it down to the recycling center. I think there's something else we can do with this body. And you see him turn to the Mune that's there, and he's just like, unless you have some important business with it, I'm gonna get rid of this droid. And the Mune looks at him and is just like, it is a gift that I have brought for the Jedi on Coruscant. I would like it for it to reach there, please. And the Major kind of looks back at the droid. He looks over at the Mune. I mean, accidents happen in shipping, you know, things I can't control. And he shrugs, and you see the men kind of start to take Eedee away. He looks at you, and he's just like,
So the droid is shut down.
Yeah.
But not Eedee is.
no. The EMP has stunned you, so it will be a couple of rounds before you can act.
Okay. I wasn't okay.
Yeah. But he looks at you, Vin Rice, and he's just like, well, this is a happy day for me. Not only did I stop a whole gang violence from erupting onto the city streets, but I caught myself 2 criminals that have been wanted for high crimes against the Republic's treaties off-worlds. I hope it was worth it, Mr. Palom.
It's funny that you guys consider me the criminal when I do your work because you don't know how to. I guess anybody can become a major these days.
I think you don't understand how crime works. Take them away, please. And they shove you into the same kind of small cell on the repulsor lift sled that Marcoon is in. And you can see that he's starting to cough up some blood. He is not in a good position.
Yeah.
And you can feel the whole cart start to veer off. At this point, Eedee, you have no senses, but you can feel that you're being moved. None of the droid facilities are kind of at your disposal right now.
Okay. I would like to ping off for like an emergency system. Any nearby, like a loudspeaker or something along those sorts.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
That's your computer programming, right?
My computer, yeah. All
Okay.
7 of those beautiful dice.
Yeah, sure. 29. It's one of the best rolls you've ever had.
Oh yeah, it is.
Sure enough, you find the same loudspeaker system that kind of warned of the lockdown.
Is it on a remote? Like, is it like remote phrasing, or can I create the phrasing myself?
No, you can create the phrasing yourself. You're the one hacking into it.
Okay. But it's the same system for the hospital, or is it for a different area of Bespin?
Oh no, it'll be the whole hospital campus.
Like, am I still in that area?
Yeah, you're being
I'm
you're
still
being
in that
taken
area.
away. Yeah, you're being taken away, but you're still on the campus.
Then I would like it to stay specifically. Okay. The sergeant who was with us, did she happen to say who the highest ranking official over Major Raimes was, or no?
No. Major Raimes is
No?
is,
Okay.
is where the buck stops on Bespin.
As high up as they go?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no, like, mayor or anything.
No.
Attention all civilians. Attention all civilians. It is with a heavy heart that we must announce that Major Raimes is now wanted citizen number 1. We repeat, wanted citizen number 1. If you see Major Raimes, please report him to the nearest Republic officer. This is a shoot on-site order. Thank you.
Okay.
Do I hear that in the thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It has spread throughout the entire hospital campus.
I like this
That's-
new Eedee.
I'm like that. I just smirk. I'm like, that brilliant. Whatever he is.
And as the regular kind of non-ranked troopers around you, though you wouldn't be able to see this, but as Vinrice is being pulled away, Marcoon kind of looks over at you. He's just like, that's incredible timing that kind of happened in our favor. Outside, through the viewports, you can see that some of the troops are kind of walking towards where Major Raimes was. and their guns are kind of being shifted from just off to the side to kind of into the front, and fingers just on the side of the trigger. And as that's happening, we come into a dark room that is very reminiscent of where you first were, Flid. As we find you in the interrogation room they had brought you into. They have since removed your bindings. They have kind of brought you water to drink, and they've kind of left you the majority of the stuff that you had on you. There's a data pad with the pictures. There's a couple of snacks that are still left. But you're sitting there, having been left to kind of stew, when the same woman kind of walks in with the droid. And again, the moment she enters, there's a sensation of not kind of sexual or sensuality or eroticism, but there's a primal need for you to kind of do what she says. There's an amicable kind of desire for you to keep her happy. And again, she enters, she looks around, and she says something in a language you don't recognize. And the droid nods and looks over at you. You have been given water, and you have been left to your own devices. Are you ready to talk?
Nothing to really say. I don't know what you talk about.
You have been marked as a member of a crew for a ship called the Neverwhere. Is this true? And you see the holo projector suddenly show you an image of Dr. Shakti in the same kind of chair you were in before. And you can see that there is the same shadowy person in the room with them. And you can see them kind of slithering up like they did to you. And you can see them kind of just standing there over one of their shoulders, just eerily close to them. She says something and the droid translates. Is this familiar to you? Would you like it to continue?
I get to stop. So whatever questions you have, I will answer. You must guarantee safety, my friend.
Again, the droid
in that room.
The droid translates. Then you admit that you two are part of a crew, yes?
This, my friend, until I can guarantee the safety of my friend, will answer anything else. I will not have my friend go through what I went through. Please.
She cocks her head at you.
Want answers? I want to guarantee my friend's safety. I want to know my friend is safe, and I would like to see my friend.
She says something. Again, the droid translates. You are not in a position to make demands.
In no position at all. Have taken everything from me. Have lost everything. So, think I'm in a very dire situation right now.
You see she steps up to you.
You also want answers.
And as she gets right in your face, she grips your chin. And you can feel the leathered, gloved hand kind of grip at your chin. And then you hear in just this very cold voice, and you can start to sense the sweetness of her actual musk in your nostrils. Make a perception check for me, please.
I hate the rolling. I hate my rolls.
Yeah.
Gosh, I cannot roll for this.
This close, you notice that her eyes are a blue tint of gray. There is a interesting kind of speck of gold in each one, just barely off center and to the left. And this close, her features are just exotic and primal, and there's something unattainably beautiful about her. And you're kind of fighting yourself to give her what she wants. And she looks at you, and suddenly, with the same intonation, just a little deeper now that she's speaking common or basic, she smiles and she's like, "Mr. Grilled, please. We are civils here. I have reprimanded the guard that took liberties with your incarceration. I can assure you that was not our intent. That was not my intent. But I do need you to be forthcoming. There's only so far I can help you. You must help me in return. Equivalent exchange."
About my friend.
Your friend is still alive, Mr. Grilled.
In there, that thing I was in with.
You see her turn around to look at the video, and as she steps aside again, you don't see anything in the room with them. It's just Dr. Shakti. She's like, "Is there... What person, Mr. Grilled? Are you experiencing trauma from what has happened to you, perhaps?"
Perhaps. I'm losing my mind.
Is guilt weighing heavy on you, perhaps? Something you want to get off your chest? Truth sets us free, Mr. Grilled.
Usually, it comes to prepping the meals, I usually give a more your portion to Silas. He's a good friend of mine. Everybody else is a little bit less or whatever. I usually get a lot of rations for myself.
You see she motions to the screen, and it shows you the image of Yandro dead on the hospital bed, and she freezes it as Silas walks into the room. Your associate mentioned that this was the Silas that you are speaking of. This is true.
looks like Silas.
Mm.
But then again, my eyes could be deceiving since
Oh, your eyes are
you don't know
deceiving.
what's real anymore.
Right,
I
right.
don't know what's real anymore.
And as she steps in between you and the camera and the projection for a moment, she's like, "I wonder if you're carrying any guilt over your two sons, perhaps, having left them fatherless for some time." And as she steps away, instead of Yandro on the bed, you can see that it's Osh in his flight suit, just lying there with 3 kind of blaster wounds in his core. One in the chest, one in the stomach, and kind of one by the shoulder.
Did you get this?
Make another perception check for me, please.
Gosh.
9. You kind of do a hard blink and you kind of wish away the image, and as you open your eyes, you see that it's back to Yandro. And she looks at you. She's like, "Are you well, Mr. Grilled? You seem to be coming in and out. Do you require a doctor?" And you see her smile.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I need a doctor.
Mm.
You know.
Of course, of course.
And I just start letting out some tears.
Sure, of course. Here, let me play something reassuring for you. Let's remove this image of carnage, so we don't do any more traumatic damage to you. And I'll bring your associate, Dr. Shakti, in to take a look at you. And as she waves at the projection, you see that it is a current timestamp on Sullust. And it's a drone-like camera that seems to be following this older Sullustan woman with 2 boys kind of running around her. Almost young men, you could say. And one of them is holding up a data pad that he's excited about. And you can see that it's AIM. You can see that it is Zotz and it is Zek. And as the camera kind of flows in and zooms in as much as possible, you see that Zotz has been admitted to the Republic Air Force. He's going to be a pilot. And there's a happiness about them. And she kind of leaves you with that current image. And there's a moment where she stops in the doorway and she's just like, "I hope that this is proof, Mr. Grill, that we don't need lies between us. We're civil here." And she steps out with the droid following. And then you see that the drone starts to turn. And as it swoops out towards the edge of the village, you see what looks to be 2 Republic snipers. And they're trained on the village itself. And you can just see a similar person of the same race that this agent is, kind of standing there with a hollow projection of you that he's looking at in the room that you're currently in. And then the drone goes back to following your family. And that's when we come to Dr. Shakti. And it's been some time. You're not sure how much time has passed, but the agent kind of steps in. The droid stays in the doorway. And she looks at you. Dr. Shakti, I must apologize. It seems that your friend, in his haste to not want to be involved with us, has brought harm to himself. I can assure you it has been taxing, to say the least. We feel that it behooves us to have you join him so that you may check him to make sure that he has not done damage to himself that can't be corrected. Anything you need, of course, will be made available to you. And please, before you insult our intelligence, as we are civil here, I'd like to show you what happened. And the holo projector shows a scene of a guard kind of coming into the room. The same sinewy figure kind of leaps up and then gets beaten down again in front of Flid, almost to the point of sadism. Like, they bring him to within a few feet of Flid and just kind of beat him as an example of what not to do. And as they start to loosen the restraints, you can see from the rear angle that Flid kind of pushes the chair back and starts to book out the door. And as he does, there's another guard that kind of comes out, blocks the door, and pushes him into the floor. And then you see Flid kind of throw himself at the guards. And in self-defense, they kind of hurt him a little bit. And then they kind of drag him away from the projection. And she...
Is there any sort of like roll that I can do to determine if what I'm seeing is true, if I believe it?
You can make a perception roll, sure. You notice at this time there's no Musk in the room as she enters. A 1 on the wild die is terrible. Regardless of the score, you are shocked that Flid would have taken his heroism at the hospital this far. And you can sense the kind of morose need for her to have allowed this to have happened. Like there is a sadness to her. It is so strange for you to see somebody in a position like hers that has these visible emotions. And she looks at you and she's just like, I hope you understand that by me suppressing my pheromones, that I mean to show you the truth and to gain your trust, Dr. Shakti. I don't need my race's edge to...
Oh no, wait.
What happened?
I didn't hear you.
Okay.
I don't need what?
I don't need my race's edge to prove to you that we are trying ever so hard to be civil here. To sit within the laws established by the Republic. And as someone that we have come to understand was a Jedi in training, this is something that I think you would know best of all. And then she kind of cocks her head at you. She's just like, why would you hide that from not just us, but from what I assume is the rest of your crew?
When can I see my friend? You came in here promising that I would see him. You left me hours ago or however long ago promising that I would see him.
Of course. How uncivil of me. And she motions and the droid comes over and in a single motion all of your bindings kind of retract, almost like measuring tape being let loose and coiling back into its case. And you start to feel the kind of strain that your joints have been under. It's uncomfortable. There's a fire on your wrists, in your elbows. There's a fire in your knees and your ankles. She motions. She's like,
Try
please.
to move as much as possible without making it noticeable.
I have water, if you'd like, and some snacks can be made available. Something to eat. Like I said earlier, there has been some gang violence, so it has unfortunately taken some time to get around to each of you. I will ask that you keep your eyes down as we move, please. There are undesirables all through the hallways.
Okay. I'll keep my eyes down, but when I do, I don't say this to her, obviously. When I do, can I do like a, I don't know, either perception or sense roll to see what I'm missing as I'm walking without actually looking around?
Sure, you could definitely make a perception roll to try to eyeball out of the corner of your eye, kind of lift your head slightly to either side.
Okay.
But yeah, she does begin to lead you out. You can hear a couple of people being shifted around you, and you hear a familiar voice. I would like a doctor's assistance if I heard that correctly, and it is Marcoon's voice. I seem to be bleeding out of my side, and then you hear a voice that you don't recognize, reassuring him. That's not what I want. Mr. Palin, please.
Oh, you do not concern yourself, my friend. You will be all right. You will be taken care of.
And as you walk past them and they walk past you, you can see that it's Dr. Shakti. It is. They have their head down. There's an interesting blue-skinned alien that you've encountered once or twice. And she is dressed in Republic officer blues, but you notice that the shoulders are cut away down to the elbows on her sleeves, and there's images of kind of green and a bluer tint of purple that kind of splotch her skin. And as she begins to walk, you can kind of, the both of you now and Marcoon can sense the musk coming off of her. It's heavy since she's this close to you, and there's a need, kind of intrinsic, very primal need to kind of make her happy.
Will,
As I'm walking. Oh, go ahead.
did they search me before?
Yeah, they took whatever you didn't give Eedee, they've taken away.
So they found my sleeve gun. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Okay. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Katie?
As I'm passing by, can I like shoot a secretive sort of look toward, Marcoon and this voice that I don't really recognize, but maybe sounds a little familiar?
Well, the Marcoon you see is bleeding from his side, and it looks like it's Silas with him, but that's not a voice you've heard come out of Silas's mouth.
Is there anything I can do to, like, you know how, like, you stare at someone really hard to, like, get them to look at you and make, like, a connection moment? Can I do that with him?
Actually, yes. If I could have you, let us now do what we discussed. And if you could please remove the parentheses from the force powers that you have access to.
Okay.
Ooh.
Remove the parentheses.
Yeah. But go ahead and roll your sense and then roll your alter, please. Okay. What simple image do you want, or emotion, a single emotion, do you want to convey to Silas, to Vin Rice?
Uh,
Something with
I would
no
like-
more than 4 colors. Something very simple emotionally to grasp. Like one of the 4
what about like that?
humors, like fear, flight, fight, fuck, or I forget what the other one is, but it's kind of like, lethargy.
Okay. It would be somewhere between fear and fight.
Okay. So you, as you're walking past Dr. Shakti, you suddenly have this. Do you want to resist as you are being bombarded with an emotion mentally, Mr. Palom?
So I get up. I'm like, so are we just going to leave him to die here in your prison? You're not going to let the good doctor check him.
The guards keep pushing you, and they put you in the room that they were just in.
The guards push me
and Marcoon into the room that Dr. Shakti was just pulled out of.
Do they have any weapons on them?
Yeah, of course.
What do they have that I can reach?
You're gonna try to pull a weapon off a guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a fight, or I got a fight, fear and fight, right? That's what she said?
That's what she
said.
said.
Like a resist?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Let's have you roll your stealthy and see if you can sleight of hand it.
Burn this bitch down.
I got a 21.
You see that as both of them are kind of pushing Marcoon to the side, they both kind of have laxed their attention on you enough so that you pull one of their blaster pistols out of the belts.
And I put it right to the back of the head. I'm like, I think we're going to stop that at this moment.
The other one points his gun at Marcoon.
I shoot him. I turn it and I shoot him.
The one that's about to shoot Marcoon?
Pointing the gun at Marcoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Action. Roll your blaster to shoot. And are you shooting each of them once, or are you shooting just the one guy?
No, I was thinking I'm gonna shoot the one guy.
Yeah.
And like basically shoot him and put it back and be like, are we gonna have a problem with you two?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and just make an unmodified roll then.
Okay.
Get him all.
It's blaster. It's a pistol, right?
Yeah, it is a pistol.
Oh, man.
Oh, a 1 on the wall died to dodge.
I got a 30.
Yeah, no, yeah, you shoot him. Roll your blaster pistol damage of 4 dice.
Oh. 18 damage.
Oh! Yeah, he rolled a 7, so that's a difference of 11. So he drops immediately to mortally wounded. And you just see the blaster kind of hit center mass, like right underneath the armpit where there's a lax in the armor, and there's a heavy kind of grunt of pain as he collapses to his side and he just starts to hold himself. Easily, Marcoon kind of leans down and grabs the rifle out of his hands and kind of puts his foot on his neck to keep him there and to quiet him, and kind of trains the gun on the other guy. And he's like, I hope that this one is hard of learning, because I'm in the mood to do some extracurricular activities.
Does he have any shackles or anything?
No, he does not. This one does not. Neither of them did.
Okay. Does he have a helmet?
Yeah, they both have open view helmets.
Cool. I take it off and I smack him over the back of the head with it. Then I throw him into the cell and I close it.
You're trying to make him knock him unconscious, is what I'm assuming, right? You're not just,
yeah.
Not just beating on him. Okay. Yeah. So you
No.
You hit the base.
No, I'm not gonna abuse him.
You hit the base of the neck. I mean, they're trying to be real civil here. All right. But you hit the base of the neck and you just see him collapse downward. Marcoon kind of looks at you, and he looks down at the guy that's kind of like groaning in pain underneath him, and he's just like, well, I think we can add escaping custody to our lists. So what's a little bit of manslaughter attached to that? And you see him kind of push his weight down on his foot, and you hear a crack.
Ooh.
And the guy stops resisting.
Can I do a buddy cop movie with me and Marcoon?
Yeah.
Like a Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid.
Yeah. I aim to misbehave.
I start looking in the cells for people.
All right. As this is happening, Dr. Shakti, you're being taken to a different cell down the hall, and as the door opens and you can see Flid sitting there, he looks terrible. He has been beaten badly. And as you kind of see him, the woman pushes you into the room and the door closes behind the two of you. And you can feel that the atmosphere in the room is starting to shift. And the both of you can hear that the oxygen is being pulled out of the room. And then you hear a blaster shot go off.
Oh my god. Is the door already closed? Did she close it?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Flid! I went over and I embraced him.
Is that you? Like,
we have to get out of here. Are you okay?
Is it you? And I start touching your face and like, is this you? Are you real?
Oh no, I can't hear you.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Wait.
Yep. All right.
Wait. Now we lost. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Now Brandon disappeared.
No, he's still there for me. He might be frozen.
Oh.
No,
Okay,
he's
sorry.
there.
I did not hear anything that you said.
I like grab your face and I'm like, is it you? Is it really you, Dr. Shakti?
Yes, Flid, it's me. Do you feel this? Do you feel the oxygen? It's dissipating. We need to get out of here.
I thought it was just me and my life.
As you're dealing with Dr. Shakti and your reunion together, you notice there's a shift in color from the holo projector, and it shows the Falleen on the hill with the snipers kind of looking at the scene playing out in front of him, and you see him simply just nudge his foot to both of them, and there's a moment where you just see a red flash and then a second red flash, and out of nowhere you can just hear screams and you can hear commotion, and the drone starts to fly back in towards the city, and there's the appearance of people kind of running for cover. There's fear that's permeating the city like a miasma, and as the drone kind of starts to hover right outside the door to was your house, you can see your wife kind of like kneeling over the bodies of your two sons, and the drone cuts to black. and there's an image of a single eye that blinks open, and you just hear the voice again. You are difficult to find, Dr. Shakti. I would prefer it if you stopped moving so much when I'm trying to help you.
Help me? How? You won't even tell me who you are.
The voice says, if you do not recognize it, you may call me. Where is it? God damn it, I had it. You know, I hate when I don't bold a name, because I don't think it's going to be important.
I think the birth of Rambo Flid is about to happen.
My alias is Valthic. I have been trying to undermine Major Raimes at every opportunity. I have noticed that your group has done the same, whether you know it or not. I propose a truce. Is this something that you are interested in, Dr. Shakti?
What kind of a truce?
Oh, are we playing this game then? And you see the video cut out of the eye, and it goes back to that forest on Naboo. And you can see that you have separated yourself from your teacher and the one sergeant. You can see Flid, you can see Dr. Shakti with a lightsaber in hand. There is a saddened rage that has overcome them. And as they rush into this group of guerrilla fighters, you see the lightsaber kind of cut one in twain. It slices, and you can see the green arc kind of cut another one at the shoulder down to the opposite waist. And as a third arc kind of swings outward in front of them, you see not just a blaster bolt being redirected in one swing and back at the shooter. You can also see that one of the guerrilla fighters has had their leg cut clean off mid-stride. And then there's a moment where you see that there are tendrils of red that start to kind of creep up out of the emitter of this lightsaber. The base of this blade is slowly turning red, and you can almost taste the rage. And out of nowhere, you see this race that you've maybe encountered once or twice, that are the pickiest eaters you've ever encountered. You remember them being called Koi Knights. You see it descend onto them, and there's a moment where it pins its knees against their flailing arms, and you can just see them grab their hands and place their fingers in a certain pattern on either side of their head, almost centered around the temples. And you can't hear it, but you can see this kind of primal scream that emits from Dr. Shakti's body, and you can see everything kind of explode outward in a violent thrust of invisible force. And then you see them just collapse. And as the Koi Knight stands up, he kicks the lightsaber away from them, and as it leaves their grip, the blade shuts down. He steps over, unfastens the blade into its separate pieces. You see him scatter them to the winds, and then the crystal he holds in his hand for a moment, not touching him, but floating in his palm. And with his other hand, you see him slowly close it into a fist, and as he does, the crystal shatters. Almost like it was ground into a fine dust. And he scatters that around the area where these poor men had been killed. And that's when the video cuts back to the unblinking eye. Is this a suppressed memory, I wonder, Dr. Shakti?
You still haven't told me who you are.
Like I said, you can call me Valthik. This is who I've become in the wake of who you became. Do we have an accord, Dr. Shakti?
I don't know, Valthik. I don't trust you.
Oh. Trust is earned. You're the loose cannon.
Can you get us out of here?
Yes.
Can you get us out of here?
Of course.
Without harming us or any of my friends?
Of course. And you can hear the vacuum stop in the room.
And what would we owe you?
Oh. You already owe me so much, Dr. Shakti. Shall I just add this to our tab? I'd be more inclined to wonder how your friend, and you can hear the venom as he says friend, how does he feel about what he just saw? And you see the hollow projector end. In the hallway, Marcoon is holding the blaster rifle, kind of steps outward, looks around. He's like, we got two coming down one side and one coming down the other. Which way do you think we should go?
Which way did Dr. Shakti walk?
Towards the direction where the two guys are coming from.
They never make it easy. We go that way. That's where the doctor went.
Yeah, all right. I'll cover you and I'll shoot the one guy. And you see him smile. He steps outward and you just hear the blaster fire.
Yeah, and I'll start moving. I'll start running and just when I get a shot.
Yeah. You want to shoot both of them or you want to shoot one at a time?
Well, he said he was going to shoot one, right?
No, he said he was going to shoot down the hallway with the one guy to cover you. Marcoon is lazy and he's hurt.
So here's my first question.
Sure.
I rolled a 30. Does that mean I get a force point?
No, it's 31 or higher. You missed
31. Okay.
Missed it by one.
Well, you know what?
No.
You know what though? I'm gonna use a force point. I'm gonna shoot both of them.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I hit both of them.
Okay. What you're gonna do then is on your character sheet, you're gonna double your blaster skill.
And I already took out the point for the force point.
Yeah. You're going to double it and then lower it by 2 for the first shot and then lower it 1 more for the second shot.
Okay, so I'm only doing 16 for the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. $59 is going to hit.
Yeah.
Lower it by 1 more die and take your second shot. 48.
48.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess they both hit. Roll.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
This is kind of an escape situation.
Yeah. The force
damage.
Yeah, the force does not double the damage.
Right.
So just roll the regular damage. And then remember to reset your skill. Jesus.
Yeah, I did.
22 and 15. Okay. So one of them might survive. So the guy that takes 22, he's dead. And the guy that took 15, oh wow. He is wounded once, but he is not a happy camper. So he's still standing. He's going to try to take a shot at you.
Okay.
Would you like to dodge?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, double whatever it is because the force point is still in effect, and then reduce it.
Okay.
Reduce it by 3.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled a 1 on the wall die, so you're probably...
I got a 33.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So yeah, so the shot flies off, and you hear Marcoon kind of curse under his breath as his shot missed, but because this guy rolled a 1 on his wild die, he actually hits his friend. And Marcoon just kind of like turns around and gives you a thumbs up. He's like, "Oh, well, I love it when a plan comes together." And then
Buddy cop movie.
And then he's gonna take a shot at the guy that you left standing. He rolled a 1 on his wild die, so his shot goes off splendidly. And you see that he ends up shooting the kind of fire alarm, the fire detectors, and you just see that suddenly the entire base is now drenched in water as all of them have turned
wonderful.
on. So running is going to be a little bit more difficult now that the floors are slick. Would you like to take another shot at ending this man's life? All right. This time it's a new round, so the force point is over.
Yeah.
So you're back to your regular skill of 85 instead of there you go.
So now do I get the force point back? Because that was a regular
now
roll?
you get the force point back. It's the first heroic roll of the night. So yeah. So you hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. Forgot to leave this on. Oh, what a sucky roll. 15. That's enough. With him being already wounded once, he kind of collapses. And he just drops his gun. Now, of course, Brandon decides to disappear at this point.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Well, I can only hold one. I'm guessing. So, because I was gonna try to grab both of them because I'm about to grab 2 prisoners. So I figured give each of them a gun.
I mean, you could take
But-
you could take both guns. You just can't shoot both of them.
Use them. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm gonna grab both guns.
Rifles are a little harder to dual wield.
Right.
But sure enough, you kind of hear the kind of back end of the discussion that Dr. Shakti was having about how can I trust you, this and that. Trust is earned, and you're standing in front of a kind of sealed doorway. And down at the end of this hallway, you see the female that was leading them out of the room kind of come around with 2 guards, and she sees the 2 of you, and she just points. She's like, "I would like both of them to be captured alive, please." And both of the guards kind of start to run forward as she kind of steps back and hides behind the corner of the hallway. What do you 2 want to try to do? Because Marcoon's like, do I shoot the door or do I shoot it at one of these guys?
Get the door.
All right.
I'm still stuck in there, right?
Yeah, you can hear the altercation outside.
And I get when they're within range, I'm gonna take a shot at both of them.
Okay. Since they have rifles, they will take a shot first because they have a longer range.
Okay.
If you would like to dodge, the first one will be a full dice pool. The second one will be -1.
Okay.
The first one hits. Oh, the second one misses.
That's great. The 19 with the green is the one that hit.
Yeah, yeah. That's how the dice roll.
Yeah.
So, Jesus. So the first damage that you have to soak with just your strength, because you don't have any armor on, is going to be 25.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna happen.
It'll be fine.
I got 7, Will.
Oh my god. That's a difference of what?
18?
Okay. So you are mortally wounded.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
And the second shot did garbage comparatively, so soak another 9.
Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, it's a difference of 6. I have 2 strength.
Yeah. So you kind of stand your guard, you cover Marcoon as you hear him shoot the door, and then both of these shots just kind of hit you center of mass and knock you back. And there's a moment where everything kind of starts to circle back and your vision kind of centers on that one day and how you met those 2 girls, and there's a smile that kind of comes over your face as you realize where their lives and their trajectory kind of ended them. And then we cut to Eedee. And there's a sudden voice that breaks through the darkness of your senses, or the lack thereof. You have made it very difficult for me to keep this contract between the 2 of us. Perhaps this has become too much trouble for you. Oh, he's gone. That's great. I'm glad that I decided to come into the scene with him. There you are. Did you get to hear any of that? Because you're muted, by the way.
He's frozen on my screen.
Yeah.
Me too.
And like a creepy... And and I'm looking at the stream, and it's his
Yeah.
eyes
Yeah.
looking into my soul right now. Is this the last thing I see? Is this what I see to heaven? Is this those eyes?
Wow.
This is the last thing you get to see.
What is happening?
World is go-
Yeah. So what was
going on?
what was the last thing you heard?
Whoa.
Brandon?
He didn't hear your question.
What is happening?
What is the last thing you heard?
I think I heard Silas died. I'm not sure.
No. That was the last thing before I went to you. In the darkness of your current existence, given that you have no senses, you just hear a familiar voice. You have made it very difficult for me to keep my end of the contract, Master Jedi. Shall we consider it null and void moving forward, or would you like to continue with our current business expenditures? I'm so glad that you're frozen again. That I'll probably have to repeat this.
You repeated the whole thing
third
again.
time. So
He's frozen
so
face into the best thing in this whole thing.
new rule: if you're out of town for work and your Wi-Fi sucks, you're not allowed to be in the game. We'll just take a night without you, so I don't have to repeat myself 18 times in the same Eastern European accent I've been trying.
Say it quick. He's there.
Are you there? Are you there? Or are you frozen?
No, he froze. He was there. He was moving. And then the moment you said it,
yeah. Yep.
The moment you started.
This is what you get when you decide to use your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot
Go.
for your significant other.
The contract's null and void.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Here, that's it.
Yeah.
Quick.
You hear the familiar voice of the Mune.
Don't do it.
It has been difficult to continue. You have made it difficult to continue our contract, Master Jedi. Shall we consider it null and void, and I leave you to your fate, or would you like to accept some help? Yep, there he is. There he goes. At least I got it out. At least I got it out this time. What's your answer?
It makes my. Oh wait, his eyes are moving.
Yeah.
Help would be nice.
Okay. You see suddenly all of the systems reboot on the droid. And the ocular cavity comes to. And you can see that the soldiers that were with you...
Help would be nice.
Yeah, I got you the first time. I'm trying to narrate. Thank you. The senses, the ocular cavities, the audio receptors, all... Damn, no, he's frozen. It doesn't matter. It's like talking to a refrigerator. I'm so glad that the ice maker of the group
Hey,
is...
he made a blooper reel at the end of the
Yo,
campaign.
I wish
Yeah.
I could see this. I can't see him at all.
Yeah, no, he's
Oh my
frozen.
god, I'm crying.
Hey,
Is it,
that's
what is
exactly...
it, Pan's
Yeah,
Labyrinth?
that's exactly how he was
Pan's
frozen.
Labyrinth?
He was,
Yeah,
he was like,
he's
I
Pan's Labyrinth.
I see everything.
Labyrinth.
everything.
Hey, do you wanna take a chance to just shift over
No, I can't see him.
to 5G while we handle this wrap up, or
You
wanna-
told me somebody else.
There's only like 10 minutes left, Brandon.
yeah, or do you want to continue? Yeah, no, he's frozen.
Or
Okay.
you want to just look into my soul like that?
Yeah, that's what it would happen.
There it is.
So we'll handle him next game then. But the door is blown open, Dr. Shakti, and you can see Marcoon kind of dodging blaster fire as he kind of ducks into the room, and he's pulling Silas's body with him. It looks lifeless.
Oh my god.
I'm-
And what does he do? Does he
Like,
are there
Even
guards
even
around?
Marcoon is kind of like holding his side, and he's like, I don't know what you can do for him. I've seen men in better condition before, but I gotta buy you some time. And you see that he kind of steps out into the doorway, and you see him start opening fire, just to cover you.
Okay, is there any kind of healing that I can do on Silas?
There is of course some healing that you can do. It will require you to pull on some things from your past. Is this something that you feel like you can do?
Yeah,
Okay,
I feel like I have.
sure. So, for this moment, Flid and the small essence of Vin Rice that's in there, you can feel that there's a sudden darkness, there's a sudden coldness that starts to emanate out of Dr. Shakti as they step forward and kind of put their hands on the body of what was Silas. There's a kind of dark aura of just pure blackness, like almost like it's eating up all of the shadows in the room so that it can cloak them in this shadow of just negative energy. And there's a moment where, if you could please, Dr. Shakti, roll your control, your sense, and your alter for me. Okay. Nothing less than a 15. You see... Yeah, there he goes. There's a moment of coldness that permeates through you. You've felt this before. You start to kind of remember the images you saw on Naboo. You can feel that same coldness and that same kind of primal darkness lash through you, and there's a wholesome moment inside of you where you convert it. There's something pure about the desire that you are trying to use this negativity for, and for a moment it freezes your insides. There's a burning sensation in every single one of your organs as you take great pain to yourself to transform this negativity into something positive. And as you do, Vin Rice takes in a sharp breath, and there's a moment where between the two of you, you have shared some of that darkness that resides in you, locked away with him, and you found compatibility there. Whatever darkness Vin Rice has in him, it is of the same cloth as the quilt of darkness inside of you. And doing so, sacrificing what you've done to save him, has unlocked whatever this Coin Knight teacher did for you to kind of keep it at bay. And the whispers start to permeate again. And there's this familiar kind of seductive voice that slithers into the back of your mind and is just like, oh, we are going to have us some fun again. And this is where we'll pick up the next episode. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. I apologize for all of the technical difficulties we had tonight. But please remember to wear your masks, to wash your hands, to keep your distance, and follow the science, because we're not out of the woods yet. And as I know that for several of us it's been a rough year and it's been mentally taxing, but please don't feel ashamed to reach out to friends and family to ask for help. If you are friends or family of somebody that is usually a strong character, please don't hesitate to reach out to them, because sometimes a simple hello or a how are you doing, it can change the trajectory of any one person. And if you don't have any real friends or family that you can reach out to, please know that there's no shame in asking for professional help. Mental health is part of our general health, and it shouldn't be stigmatized or tabooed. So please get the help that you deserve. And as always, we will see you on the next episode, either Monday for our Vampire the Masquerade game, on Wednesday for our Legend of the Five Rings game, or next week for the Star Wars game, or even next Saturday for our special one-shot of Mage 20th Anniversary Edition set in World War II. Until then, please be safe, and I'll see you next time.